selfie. It's documented, I am here. I'm in hem on my shoes to get grounded. You know how they say you got butterflies in your stomach? I get pterodactyls right now. And these two guys behind me think the fan is blowing my skirt, but it's because I still shake. 30 years ago, I sat there. Well, actually, no, we sat here. We never sat up there. Thinking to myself, I wonder where I'm gonna be in 10 years. Probably married with a couple kids. I wonder where I'm gonna be in 20 years. Oh my God, I'm gonna be 38. That's old. Never in my life did I imagine 30 years after graduating, I would be delivering the commencement speech to you guys. Talk about humbling. Life has a way of taking you, spinning you around, and throwing you in positions and places you never thought you would be for a penny. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not a good thing. That's been the pattern in my life. But don't get me wrong, because I don't regret anything. I don't regret the good things, I don't regret the bad things. Just go with the flow. It's because of the important lessons in life, early on in life, that I learned that everything happens for a reason. Everything. Good, everything bad, everything confusing. It all happens for a reason, even when you don't understand why. When I was asked if I would do this, I laughed. I said, shoot, no problem. You know why? I thought they was joking. Me? Why me? So I went through the weekend thinking that they were joking. And then Mrs. Fujioka, who I knew as Arlene, called me on Monday. And I knew she was serious. See, Arlene sat a few seats away from me, or I should say Mrs. Fujioka sat a few seats away from me during graduation because we classmates. She was a good friend then, and she's still a good friend now, and we're forever been joking with each other. Now let me tell you a little secret. When I asked Mrs. Matsumura what I needed to talk about, she said, oh, Darde, easy. Talk about living your dreams. Easy for her to say. 30 years ago, what I'm living now was not my dream. Don't get me wrong, I love my life, I really do, but it's not what I dreamt of. And that's what I want to convey to you guys sitting there, okay? I graduated in May 1986, and I got married in July. No, not because I had to, I wasn't pregnant. It was because early on dating my husband, I immediately knew that Darren was not a perfect man. I wasn't a perfect woman, but I knew together we had something that was perfect. And so I wanted to capture that. So this coming July, we will celebrate our 30th wedding anniversary. Now I'm supposed to give you this speech about living your dreams and inspire you to believe that your dreams can come true. Well, guess what? It can, but it comes at a price, okay? And that's what I want to talk to you guys about. That price is called hard work. It's called getting dirty. It's called standing up when you get knocked down for the umpteenth time and think you cannot stand up anymore. It's called putting away that cell phone, turning off that video game, and doing something productive. It's called nobody owes you anything. It's called patience, and it's called perseverance. Are you willing to pay that price? Think about it. In this world of hustle and bustle, where we're even making our talking faster with OMGs, ROFLMOOs, or ROFLMBOs, BFFs, TTYLs, instant this, instant that, fast food, high speed this, high speed that. We've all come to expect things to happen instantly. And I'm not just talking about that generation or this generation, even our beloved kupuna have fallen to it. Yeah. My grandfather, Estefino Fano Figueroa, only went to the 3rd grade. And then he stopped going to school to help his family around the house while his mom and dad went to work. When he was about 12 years old, he started working for Honokaa Sugar Company as a child laborer for 25 cents a week. 9 hours a day. And he never saw his quarter because it was added to his dad's paycheck. He never grumbled. He worked his entire life in the sugar industry right here in Honokaa. And when he retired in 1984, he had worked for the sugar plantation for almost 50 years. He barely could read or write, but yet he was one of the best self-taught mechanics around. He built his own home, and he could take an automobile manual and just look at the pictures, and by looking at the pictures, know what needed to be done to fix that automobile. He was able to figure it out. Oh wait, did I mention he was deaf because of a childhood injury? He could talk a little bit, he wore a hearing aid. You see, he never let his disability stop him from doing anything. When we got married, my husband worked for Honokaa Sugar Company, and we both thought that he was going to retire from Honokaa Sugar Company like his dad and like my grandfather. Well, just a little after a year of being married, they started faltering, and a couple years later, the sugar company closed completely. Bam! That was the first MMA move that life threw us. Well, not just us, the entire community. Each family, many of your family members can attest to that. To the uncertainty, to what were we gonna do, how are we gonna do it? I mean, the government agencies came in and they did their outreach work to assist as many displaced workers as they could, but many didn't receive it either because they were too ashamed to ask, or they just thought they never need the help. Now, that's another lesson in life. No be shame. No be shame. So we had to fend for ourselves, and we had to figure out how to do it. In the years immediately following the closure of Honokaa Sugar, those of us who were born and raised here, those of us who stayed, began to see a shift in mentality. Many of the plantation workers had to change their occupations completely. Cane truck drivers became certified nurses' aides. Cultivation workers planting sugarcane became chefs. They did what they needed to do. Some went to work at the Golden Arches, some scrubbed toilets. Some did what they had to do. We adapted, and that's what you need to do. You need to adapt when the changes come. You need to persevere. You need to pay that price. The people of Honokaa knew that we'd never be the same ever again. The plantation lifestyle that kept us all safe in that little bubble had popped, and we were exposed to the real world. Kind of like what's gonna happen to you. Maybe not when you walk out the door, but it'll start sinking in. You're gonna be exposed to the real world. No more mommy, no more daddy. You can go off to college, you can be on your own. Wherever you go, whatever you do, don't forget where you come from. Don't forget, hammer your shoes sometime and just get grounded. Remember where you came from and the ground that you walked on. Take the time to hammer your shoes, sit quietly, and just reflect back on where you've come from, because that'll help you to wherever you're going. My position at COPPA came very unexpectedly to me. In 2009, I was asked if I wanted to enter the Miss Aloha Nui contest. Me, in one pageant, really. I was like, shoots, I'm gonna get one free moo-moo, I'm gonna get maybe one brunch for me and my husband, maybe one hotel stay, I can do that. I did not expect to win it. And that opened doors for me that I never ever thought I would have opened to me. So after doing some appearances, I got approached by Copper Radio, and they asked me if I wanted to be a DJ. And I was like, no, you get the wrong person. I'm a certified coder, I do medical billing. I help the doctor get paid after the doctor treat you. And they're like, no, we think you'd be a good DJ. Okay, so chance 'em, why not? My job was about to be eliminated at the hospital, and I thought, I'll give it a shot. What could come out of it, right? Little did I know. But something happened a couple years after I was working in the radio station. We were asked to take an aptitude test. How many of you had counselors that gave you that aptitude test to see what line of work best suits your personality? Yeah, you fill in those bubbles or whatever. So we were asked to take one, and I took it, and something kind of like weird happened. I was like, I looked at those 4 letters, E, J, F, P, or whatever that letters was, and I was like, why does this look familiar to me? So I pulled out my senior memory album, and lo and behold, it was the exact same results I had almost 25 years before. The exact same results. And you know what the #1 job for me was? Radio DJ or public speaker. Yeah, I guess I was hot-headed. I never pay attention, you know? So anyways, I've been working in the radio for 5 years, and I learned, okay, listen now, okay guys, when you find a job, when you love the work you do, you will never ever work another day of your life. When you love the work you do, you will never work another day of your life. I love working in radio, and I feel like I'm not working. I love it. Find what you love and do what you love, but know that that might change. Because I love doing coding. I thought that's what I wanted to do. But it changes, so you gotta adapt. 2016, class here. Look at each other. Right now, look at each other. To the left, to the right, behind you, in front of you. You see familiar faces. Some of you have gone to school from kindergarten all the way through till today. The one thing that the speakers before me touched on that is true. Some of the faces you're looking at right now, sorry, you will never see again. Sad, y'all. But it's a reality. It happens to everybody. When it's time for your class reunion, some of you that live right here, not gonna come. Right? Okay, like, look at the adults, they're going, oh yeah, I never went to one of my class reunions. Shall we ask them to show hands? No, we're not gonna do that. Okay, so some of you are gonna go very far, some of you are going to stay right here. Some of you going do big things. Some of you going to feel like you're not doing big things. Again, whatever you decide to do, whatever path you decide to take, remember where you came from. Remember what got you to this point. Because from this point, you go to the next point. My classmates and I learned early in our lives that no one is promised tomorrow. By the time we graduated high school, we had lost quite a few classmates to car accidents. It was a sad reality, but it was true. But the one thing that it did for our class of 1986 is that it immediately taught us that we have to cherish life. We have to cherish the now, because nobody is promised tomorrow. And even today, 30 years later, we have a bond in our class. Mrs. Agdepa, who will always be Sherry Conda to me because we had 5 Sherrys in our class and we have to call them by their first and last name. Sherry can tell you that. Miss Fujioka can tell you that. I don't know who else is in here is the class of 86. Jose, Mr. Miguel can tell you that. Denise can tell you that. We're all classmates. We all sat there together and we all felt the hurt knowing that some of our classmates didn't make it, but it brought us closer together. You can come to points in your life where you can feel like you're at the bottom of the pit. Been there. Guess what? When you're at the bottom of the pit, all you gotta do is look up. Because when you hit rock bottom, the only place left to go is up. Don't expect somebody to come and pull you up. You're lucky if it happens to you. But sometimes it's not. You gotta pay that price. You gotta make the move to pull yourself up. I know, kind of serious, kind of heavy, yeah, my talk. Living in YPO is not an easy task. It's not for everybody. But it offered me the chance to stop and smell the roses. Well, not really the roses, because no more roses down in YPO. It gives me a chance to pause. And I started writing these things that I started thinking about. Like, I moved to YPO and I become this philosophical tailor that like sit and look at dragonflies all in one row on the branch, like, wow, 5 in a row today. Yesterday only had 3. And then I post the picture and everybody's like, oh my God, Darde, that's like amazing. It was 5 dragonflies all in a row on a branch. I'd stop to take one picture. But I started realizing all of these different, what I call YPO essential life lessons, or wells. So I want to share with you the important well, the view. Driving home one night, I was in awe of the brightness of the stars, because no more street lights in YPO. So the stars shine really, really bright. And then I got home and I sat in the backyard and I realized that because we're in the valley and the walls are so steep, I only see one section of the sky. It's kind of like our lives. Sometimes we get so caught up in it that, which is not a bad thing, but we forget to look outside of that view. Sometimes we gotta climb up to the top of the valley so that we can see the whole view. Because sometimes when we don't climb up to the top of the valley to see the whole view, we don't realize the opportunities that are out there that we stopping ourselves from seeing. So, climb to the top of the valley sometimes, guys, okay? Just be careful. You guys had an amazing song, Life. That's like really cool. I don't remember what my class song was. Sherry, what is our class song? Denise. Jose. See what happened 30 years later? You're not gonna remember what your class song was. I have a favorite quote that I have on a plaque at my house. And I convey this to my kids all the time, and I hope you guys take this with you. Wherever you go, whatever you do, whatever you decide your choice is going to be, whether the choice is right, the choice is wrong, whatever it is, 1, be accountable for that choice, because you made that choice, good or bad. But 2, remember the words of one of my favorite presidents. And he said, be true to who you are and the family name you bear. Be true to who you are and the family name you bear. Remember where you came from. Remember the footsteps that came before you. Remember the sacrifices that your kupuna made for you, your parents. Be true to who you are and the family name you bear, is the quote from President Gordon B. Hinckley. I want to leave you guys with one of my favorite songs, my newest favorite songs. Working on the radio, I come across a lot of music. We don't play this one on Kappa because it's not Hawaiian music. This song is by Tim McGraw and it says, hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip, and here's why. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Know the difference with sleeping with someone and the difference of sleeping with someone you love. I love you ain't a pickup line, so always stay humble and kind. Don't take for granted the love this life gives you. when you get where you're going, don't forget to turn back around and help the next one in line. Always stay humble and kind. It is my honor and my privilege. And I guess you can see when Tita actually cry. Because I act tough, but actually I am a big mushy inside. It's my honor and my privilege to be here and speak to you today. And I hope 30 years from now, you guys remember at least something that Tita from Waipio Valley who was on the radio could tell you. Reach for the stars. It is within your grasp. Just know that you gotta be willing to pay the price called hard work. And always remember, please stay humble and kind. Tita Louie out.